everybody, I'm Miss Cooksey, and today we're going to be talking about the distributive property. This is the best, most foundational part of Algebra 1, and I'm super excited to talk about today. So, the distributive property tells us that we can mess around with how we do multiplication and addition or subtraction. We distribute by multiplying the term on the outside of some sort of expression by every term on the inside of the parentheses. So for example, if I have a on the outside and I've got this expression inside parentheses and a is being multiplied, this is the same as a times b plus a times c. I can, multiply a times b times a times c and get a new expression. This is really, really helpful when it comes to simplifying. We'll see in the next video about combining like terms. This could be really helpful. Next, we've got a times b minus c. A times b and a times c, the same thing applies. Just because there's a subtraction symbol, nothing changes. Here we have a times b times a, or minus a times c. We're going to look at a bunch of different examples of the distributive property. So we've got 6 examples here. Let's go through them. First, we have negative 5 times 5x plus 7. So we're multiplying negative 5 by the sum, which means we're going to multiply it by each part. Negative 5 times 5x is negative 25x. Negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. Let's look at the next one. This is a little bit longer. There's 3 parts in here. The rules do not change. We have 4 times 2x plus 3y plus 10. We're multiplying 4 times this whole sum. We're going to multiply 4 times every single part. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 3y is 12y. And 4 times 10 is 40. Looking at our next one, negative 3x plus, or negative 3 times x plus y plus 5. We're going to multiply negative 3 times x, negative 3 times y, and negative 3 times 5. That gives us negative 3x minus 3y minus 15. Some people ask, is it okay if I say plus negative 3y and plus negative 15? Absolutely. Subtraction and adding a negative are the exact same operation. There's no difference. Let's look at our final 3 examples. 6 times 5x minus 7. We're multiplying 6 times 5x and 6 times negative 7. That gives us 30x minus 42. Here we've got negative 2 times 2x minus 6y plus 4. I like this one because there's some negatives, some positives, and we're multiplying by a negative number. We have to remember all of our multiplication and division with negative number rules as we're doing this. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times negative 6y is plus 12y. And negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. This last one is a little bit tricky. There's no number on the outside. There is just this minus sign. Well, this minus sign actually represents a number, a really important number. It represents negative 1. So when we see a minus sign on the outside, we are multiplying each of these terms by negative 1. And when we multiply anything by negative 1, it's a little bit the opposite. When you multiply something by positive 1, it stays the same. That's one of the rules. It's our multiplicative identity rule that we talked about in the last video. When you multiply any number by negative 1, the sign switches. So x will become negative x. Negative 2y will become positive 2y. And 4 becomes negative 4. This is how we're going to use the distributive property, which is a key part key skill that we're going to use for the rest of Algebra 1. Next, let's talk about factoring. Factoring is reversing the distributive property. So factoring means finding terms that multiply to a product. Remember, the product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So here, these are terms. 6 is a term. 5x minus 7 is a factor, or 6 is a factor. 5x minus 7 is a factor. 30x minus 42 is the product. So we are going to be reversing the distributive property. We're going to start with the product and try to find the factors. To do this, we are going to find the greatest common factor and divide. So here I've got 55d plus 10. We're reversing the distributive property. We're trying to figure out what are those factors that multiply to get this product. Let's start by finding the greatest common factor between 55 and 10. Well, the largest number that divides evenly between 55 and 10 is 5. Now I'm going to divide each of those terms by 5. So 5 will be on the outside of my parentheses. 55d divided by 5 is 11d. 10 divided by 5 is 2. The way I can check to make sure I have the right factors is I can distribute. So if I distribute here, 5 times 11d is 55. 5 times 2 is 10. I start with my same product. Let's do this again with the next 3. 12 plus 22u, the greatest common factor between 12 and 22 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 22 divided by 2 is 11. So we have 2 times 6 plus 11u. 24 plus 20z, well, the greatest common factor between 24 and 28 is 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So 4 times 6 plus 7z. 33y minus 30. The greatest common factor between these values is 3. 33 divided by 3 is 11. 30 divided by 3 is 10. So I have 3 times 11y minus 10. In this video, we talked about how to distribute and we talked about how to factor, which is essentially reversing the distributive property and trying to figure out what numbers multiply to get a product. Tune in next time for a video on combining like terms where we'll take this skill and add to it. And thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video. I'll see you next time.